What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ReCoop. I'm your host, Cooper Daniels, and today is, what is today? Thursday? Today's Thursday. Hold on one second. Thursday, March 14th. We got a special one today. I was planning on getting here earlier, but then my son went to a new basketball program last night, and I hadn't talked about it because my wife took him, and I was out late working, and then she was telling me about it, and I was interested, and I realized it was later than I thought. Folks, there you go. There's my excuse for being tardy. What is going on? But every day I'm late, aren't I? That's a problem. That's a problem. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, but we do it daily. We do this show daily, folks, and I hope you enjoy that. So today we've got a great one. We're talking to Chris Swenor. He is the founder of Reach. He is the founder of VOI, which is an AVM blockchain, layer one blockchain that's in testnet right now. There's a lot of different ways for you to earn rewards. We'll talk about all of that. And yeah, the market, I think the market is correcting a bit. I saw Bitcoin push down. So we're going to look at that before Chris joins the chat. He'll be here in about 5-10 minutes. So let's just dive in. I'll say hi to what's going down. I'll say hi to the folks. Aubrey, what's up? What's up, man? How are you? Good afternoon, Cooperholics and Algo Addicts. Pablo, you are in the building day in and day out. I appreciate you. Not a bad way to kill 15 minutes before my shift ends. Yeah, man, just sit there. Wait for the clock to expire. I like it. Dear Coop, got a busy week, so can't watch live this week, but I'm watching it all back. Oh, animal style. I appreciate you, man. Welcome. And then if you're watching the recording, that's all good too. Good morning to Coop Gang. What's up, Semino? Nice to see you. Good morning. Yo, what's up, troopers? We got Gov. Gov is a founder of VOI with Chris Swenor. We got him in the building. Aubrey's man had a cut. Yeah, got a cut, man. She did it. She did it up. Coop, you are early. It's not 2 p.m. Eastern. Bob was like, it's not even 11, bro. I know. I'm doing this early today. I was hoping to get here at 12:30 so I could do a half-hour show before Chris came in. But today we're just doing it. You know what I mean? We're doing what we can. Cody's another Voyager. Will VOI equal generational wealth? We'll ask Chris Swenor that. I'm sure he'll love to answer that. Chris and Coop. All right. So real quick, let's just dive into let's scroll through the noise here real quick and see if there's anything interesting that we can comment on real quick. Okay, it looks like the market is under pressure. I think we got some bad inflation. No, what am I doing? That's the wrong button. We got some tough inflation news today. We're not getting rate cuts, folks. It's not happening anytime soon. Okay, so the Dow is down 120 points, which is only 1/3%. S&P 500 are down almost 0.5%, or 4.4. And NASDAQ is down similarly. The Russell is underperforming everything, down almost 2%. EV euphoria is dead. This all looks familiar from yesterday. Okay, that looks right. Yeah, okay. I was going to say EV euphoria. That was an article from yesterday. All right, so wholesale inflation rose 0.6% in February, much more than expected. I think a lot of these, but the wholesale? The PPI, which measures pipeline costs for raw, intermediate, and finished goods, jumped 0.6% on the month, double the Dow Jones estimate. Okay, on a year-over-year basis, the headline index raised 1.6%. 2/3 of the rise in headline PPI came from a 1.2% surge in goods prices, the biggest increase since August 2023, thanks to a 4.4% jump in energy. So oil seems to be driving this up. We got NVIDIA fell below 900. So it's way up there, but it is having a hard time at that 900 place. JP Morgan is fined $350 million for inadequate trade reporting. They get fined a lot. Gold and silver, why doomsday assets are now hot sale items. Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why they're hot sales items. All right, we're just going to skip right over to CoinDesk to see what's going on in crypto before we talk to Chris. Okay, so Bitcoin got back over 71. BNB fell below 600, but geez, how high is that thing? Jesus Christ, who's buying that? Why are you so excited about BNB? Okay. Oh, big news. Craig Wright is not Satoshi. I mean, everybody knows, but Craig Wright is not Satoshi. Did not author the Bitcoin white paper. So BSV folks, I just want to say, sometimes it's hard when you're taking an L, but the price of BSV is pretty solid. I don't understand the play of staying in BSV at this point. I certainly would try to get ahead of the whale exit. Cutter's sovereign fund might be buying Bitcoin, but surely not 500 billion worth. All right, I hear Chris has just joined the chat. Let's just look real quick before we go to Chris. Here's the block. Yes, right? Okay, we got to get out of here. The block loves Phantom. Okay, this is from yesterday. Oh, give me a break. Okay. All right, nothing. So the big news is Craig Wright is not Satoshi. And JP Morgan is just later. All right. Vestige real quick. All right. You guys ready? You guys ready to talk to Chris Swenor? Let's Gary. Oh, Gary. All right. So Coop is resting above 6. Akita cooled off from its latest run. Opal is cooling off, and GORA cooled off a bit. It was over 50 cents yesterday. Where's Coin Market Cap? Why did I get rid of that? Oh, I didn't even share that. Sorry, guys. Coin Market Cap. All right. We're still in extreme greed, up a tick. Okay, so 71. So the market's bouncing back. There's just a constant buy pressure, isn't there? The volume is down a bit, though. It sunk below 50 billion. Solana continues to melt faces. It's now on a new run to new highs, recent highs. Avalanche cooling off, but still up 23% over the last 7 days. Polkadot over 11. Let's go to Algo. Let's go to Algo real quick. Algo. Pepe is up 46% on the week. So you guys are still living that dream. Dog with hat. Oh, shoot. Dog with hat, number 42 on the market, in the market cap. Top 50, almost top 40, up 28% in 24 hours. That dog definitely is with hat. All right. Flocky is up 106%, a measly 106% in the last 7 days. Algorand, Algo, number 53, still hitting it strong, baby. Up, down 2% over the last 24 hours, but over 31 cents. That is a nice place for it to rest. BSV is only down 3% over the last 7 days, over $100. Not financial advice. All that shit. All right, folks, are you guys ready? Are you ready to talk to your friend, our friend, Christopher Swenor? Is this good? Do we want to do it like this, Chris?
Can we do it? Could keep me in the small corner the entire time? That'd be pretty great.
That might be fun. I think we should do it this way. What's going on, man?
Living the dream, Coop.
You are. You just so yesterday, by the way, our friend Chris Swenor, you had a headline article on Blockworks about decentralization.
Turns out people like to listen to me. Who knew?
Yeah. Well, you should have figured that out earlier. You could have done something with your life.
I know. I still have time.
Okay, you still have time. You sure do. And you are doing things. You've done a lot of things. So wait. So
so people watching this, they should read that article. It's from my heart, 100%.
100% from your heart. Now, I do feel like, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's just kind of lead this with decentralization. I do feel like there is a sentiment shift and a lot of people in this space that decentralization isn't as important as us idiots that like it, think it is. And it's like, you can't make that the thing, because it's like, you're going to miss out, or, it's a bad move for Algorand, for example, to be making these moves towards decentralization, because it was already as decentralized as most other things. You see lots of different, like, it's like, shouldn't be the focus. Like, what was the main thesis of your paper, and what are your feelings about that kind of sentiment?
So a lot of people, like, I think, get confused, like, what is decentralization? Like, does decentralization mean more nodes? Like the blockchain has 10,000 nodes. Of course it's decentralized. But when like 3 of those nodes are ran by, it's like hold 80% of the stake, is it really decentralized? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like my paper is more about like distribution, like who actually owns the token, like that. My hypothesis there is that it is very important that the token itself is distributed to the people that are putting in value to the network. And if that's not the case, I don't believe that's sustainable, because what ends up happening is that like the people putting in value are the people that are creating, like the NFT creators, bringing the people in, the builders, people building actually like DeFi platforms or anything on it. Those are the people adding value to the chain. And now, if they are adding value to the chain, and all it does is make the people that hold 80%, 90% of the tokens richer, and they get it just a small portion, those people that are adding value, those true like value makers, those wave makers, as I call them, are going to leave. They're going to say, wait a second, like I put in all of this effort, and we're doing the same thing that Web 2 did. We're building the Googles of the world, the Amazons of the world. I thought the whole point of blockchain is that it's distributed. It's actually owned by people putting in value, not those early holders, not those early VCs holding the majority of it. So that article is written saying, hey, decentralization actually still matters. Sure, you might trust the people that own your blockchain, but like, isn't the whole point of like, it's a trustless system? And isn't the whole point that if you're there adding value, shouldn't you be the one owning it?
Yeah.
What do you think, Coop?
Well, I think I agree with you. I'm just thinking about like the idea that, well, if somebody's able to put the money up, and, these blockchains need money, so then you need VCs, and you need these people to end up getting and hoarding tons of tokens. Is that something that you think is bad?
I do think that's bad. I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
VCs aren't bad. To be very clear, VCs are not bad. VCs are bad when they own the majority of the chain.
Yes.
Like that's what it is. Because like the early stakeholders, like the truth is, like the people that launch these chains, like I've met and had conversations with several blockchain founders, and they're not bad people by any means. They're great people, and they're actually as degen as I am about decentralization distribution. So the question is like, how did we get here? How did they give away so much of the actual the early token to those early investors, and then go, okay, well, what do we do now? Yeah. And the answer is that blockchain development is expensive.
Yeah, that too.
It's really expensive. Like it takes the smartest people in the world working for years to build something that people can use.
Right.
And when you do that, when the people that give money for that, they will give money for that, but it's also a big risk for them. So in exchange for that big risk, they ask for a lot.
Yes.
So like the this is like probably going to rub some people the wrong way, but here we are. Is that what is the value of a blockchain without a community?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Unless it's some sort of institutional thing that they're able to, it's like banks are using it or something, I guess. Yeah.
But if the actual blockchains themselves, the technology is open source, what is the value then?
Yeah, right.
So if all of the money goes into the technology, which we're finding out over and over again, that the community doesn't, like, they care about technology a little bit, but they care way more about the community, way more about the people that are there. And so if technology is not the actual thing that holds the value, it's not actually where all the value is the community. Yeah. Why can't, and pretty much every blockchain out there is open source. Why doesn't the community actually have the ownership.
Right. Well, and the idea is of all of these things, like you said early on, is that they do. But what we've run up against is that can you give a good example? What's your best example of a community owned? Obviously, that's not VOI. VOI is not on mainnet yet. We'll talk about VOI. But
Sure.
can you give me an example of something that you think lives up to this promise, at least to some degree?
I mean, obviously, the closest thing is Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But that's because of how it was launched and everything. And even then, it's not very distributed. There's actually a lot of huge whale holders in the Bitcoin world. They're not necessarily like the VCs that started out that way, but the early holders did, and the VCs that like bought a lot of it and things of that sort. But the truth is like, I believe this is the dawn of the community chain. This is the start of the reboot of the people adding value, thinking, wait a second, we're adding value. We're the ones here. Why don't we own the chain?
Right. Right. Okay. So what about to people that might push back on what you just said and say, well, VOI, didn't you just announce Arrington Capital, and aren't you courting VCs? Because like you said, blockchain development is expensive. And so what do you say to those people that might call you a hypocrite? Not a hypocrite. I mean, it's a harsh word, but I mean, I'm sure there are people that call you that, saying
people call me way worse.
I think they've called me that too, way worse too. So we're in this together, Chris. So what? So what do you say to that?
That I say they didn't actually listen to what I said. I said VCs are not bad. VCs are bad when they own the majority of the chain.
Yeah.
The VCs coming in when they own a portion of it, just like a community member, they add the actual the cost to get up off the ground. They're not owning 20%, 10% of the entire chain. Right. And that's where the big difference is. VCs are great. I mean, VCs are the reason why we have most large companies in the world. We have most companies like, progress in the world is because of VCs. They provide the capital. The biggest issue is that when they own a dilutable portion of it, and people are actually building on top of their backs, that's when the problem is. So VCs are not the devil. They're not bad. I have friends with quite a few. They provide the capital. It's just that you need to make sure that they are part of the community and not just fully the owner of it.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely, the only example I can think of is, like you said, is Bitcoin, where there has been this kind of like natural incentive loop to continue development. And there's Bitcoin core developers that, they all gotten rich off of Bitcoin. And so they're able to dedicate their lives to it. But that type of organic funding, which you said you need development, you need to adjust, there's a lot of work to be done on these things. And you see it like some of these classic cryptocurrencies that are decentralized in a lot of ways, but they can't do anything with it because there's no money. There's no money to push it forward. There's no money to bring awareness. There's no money for partnerships. It's just, it's funny how this industry, to even like partner with somebody, it seems like you need to pay for it. It's like you see Polygon do this on over and over and over again. They're spending so much money on all these splashy partnerships. So, I have to say that the main thing that really drew me to VOI in the beginning was what you're talking about. And it's this community owned, this idea that you could distribute the token in a much fairer way and really make the community feel ownership over the blockchain. And so how do you feel now? You're like, mainnet is not that far away. You've done a lot of there's like NFT games going on right now. There's a lot of artists. There's a lot of excitement there. There's some kinks. You guys are working it out. That's what testnet's for. And so how do you feel right now with the how it's going? Yeah.
It's happening. Like, it's going better than what I expected. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, like when I first started out, it's dream and a prayer. I got a lot of haters early on because we set out on an impossible mission. Like, it's very understandable when, being told, oh, Chris, you're doing something that can't be done, and be swept under the rug. And it's because launching a blockchain is very hard. It's very, very, very hard. This is why you don't see people doing it all the time. Mm-hmm. But what I've found, and what I found over this time, is that when you are very mission driven and value driven, where it's like, to be part of this community, you don't come here because you want to be rich, because you want to actually make the quick buck. If you come here because you actually believe that the potential of blockchain is great, and the original Satoshi's vision, where it's like it is owned by the people that are putting the blood, sweat, and tears in, you end up growing extremely fast, because you end up getting all of this help from all of the community members. Like, the large majority of what VOI is today is because of the community members. I mean, we have entire teams that are dedicating and building amazing applications. Like, Highforge ended up getting slammed on the Start Energy games. Didn't even there was zero hitch. It just minted out, no problem.
Yeah.
And this is actually, it's great technology. I'm very proud of the Austin, his brother Mitch. Nautilus, a brand new market, like NFT marketplace, that's built on top of new type of spec, NFT spec, that had to write from scratch. It had a little bit of hiccups, but he's back and going, and like, he's dedicated all his hours to all of this. The government's team, they've been getting together every single week for over 6 months now, that look at every proposal come in, do their due diligence, and decide on the distribution of the testnet tokens. So, like, the core team here is that, like, we are like shepherds. We are the cat herders, and it's hard to actually get everybody on the same page. But we believe that doing things decentralized, and as decentralized as you possibly can from the very beginning, from testnet, it's harder, but it's the right thing. And so that, because it's the right thing, it's worth it being harder.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the amount of NFTs we had close to 40 projects that minted out within 24 hours. We have many creators now creating tokens to go with those, which I think is really cool. We're approaching close to 900 nodes, like voting nodes. Like, that's nuts. How
many relays do you have? Sorry to interrupt.
I think we're at 60-ish.
Relays. How many Algorand has 110 or something?
Yeah. They have a good amount as well, but like, I don't like to compare ourselves to anybody, just because I like to compare what we were the day before. But the thing is, like, it's all community ran. Like, like, how many hours have you put into governing and making decisions and things of that sort? Like, it's extremely appreciated, because that's why we call it. That's why we call it VOI. VOI means you all. Like, this is your chain.
Yeah,
and that's why we're doing it. Like, honestly, it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome, man. So, I was thinking about just what we just talked about, and your article as well. And you make a point that I think is very true, that once the cat's out of the bag, kind of thing, it's like that this idea that we're going to start centralized and become decentralized over time is
absolute bullshit.
Well, because then I even think on my small scale, which actually isn't as small anymore. I mean, it's, I think, a 1.3 million market cap, which is incredible for Coop, especially on, since it's on Algorand too. It's not like it's a really organic thing where people are really building Coop now, which has little to do with me. But I just think about the fact of when I distributed the entire thing to everybody and just gave it all away, it occurred to me, like, I had a bit of a crisis of, should I keep what Satoshi has, like, just as a joke, like, one less, like, the circulating, or the supply is one less than Bitcoin. Should I keep one less than the Satoshi wallet? And then I was like, no, just give it all away. Like, who knows?
Like, honestly, that is why it's as popular as, because you fully distribute it. You did an amazing job with that.
Yeah. And so I did that, and there was a lot of people that got it. But I think, though, if I had, let's say, did it differently, and I saw it take off, and now it's at a $1.3 million, 1.3, it'd probably be at a higher market cap, if it's somehow succeeded in spite of me despite me keeping some. Then how much harder would it have been for me to distribute a bunch of tokens that are now worth $100,000, $200,000, $300,000? Like now I'm starting to count my what I can get with the money. You know what I mean? Now
Right.
I'm thinking, oh
Exactly.
shit, I can do this, this, and this. And then you start to scheme, and it's much harder to get out of that head place
Right.
because we all need things. You start to think of your family, you start to think of what it can, and then you start to justify by what you can bring the people around you. And like, and then
Preach it, Coop. Preach it.
So
I agree with you.
I definitely agree with you that it seems like a bit of a fantasy. It's like, okay, we'll fully decentralize once we get rich off this. It seems to be the motto, right?
I guess exactly. It's like one of the hardest things to give up is power. I mean, like you can actually look outside of crypto. I mean, look at like the French Revolution. Look at like many of the revolutions. It's like, wait a second, the people that have power aren't giving it up. We need to take it. Like that's what ends up happening. Yeah. And this goes back to the whole thing is like it's those revolutions are those people like, wait a second, we're the one adding value to this. Why are they getting like all of the returns? Let's do a revolution. And this is why I say non-decentralized blockchains will have their own versions of revolutions.
Yeah. All right. So look, you have VOI, you have a very active governance council, you have 900 participation nodes, 60 relay nodes. This is insane.
We're like 850. We're approaching 900. We're not there yet. We're getting there.
It's okay. We're close enough. But like, but good on you for the accuracy. But so you are now. What happens, by the way? Because we all know from the Algorand community that relay nodes are expensive, right? And
no, they're not.
They're not.
No.
Okay. Well, why is that a fallacy? Because everybody tells us that they're so expensive.
Who knows? Who knows?
What are you saying, Chris? These aren't that bad. Everybody's like, oh, the node, it cost me.
A relay node costs between, let's call it $50 and $200 a month to run a relay node.
Okay, so that's not out of control.
No. I was under the same impression originally before we started this. Like, oh, it's like costs like $3,000 minimum a month to run a relay node. I was like, and then digging into it, no, it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, so then what's the plan for VOI in that way? So why don't you tell everybody, like, how will consensus be incentivized once you get to mainnet, and how will everybody, obviously, if it costs a couple $100 a month, people aren't going to be doing that for free, or they won't be doing that for free for long if they.
Right.
So what's the plan for VOI to incentivize participation?
So I'm going to caveat this with. The correct governing regulated entity will make this decision when mainnet happens. Mm-hmm. I will consult them on the direction I believe that it should go. And what that means is both incentivizing the relay nodes and the participation nodes in different ways. Participation nodes based off of blocks produced, obviously. And I would consult them to do it over a spread out 20 years. Because you don't want to actually make the early node runners the new whales. So you want to make sure that it is spread out appropriately. And I would also actually consult and recommend that they do a almost like not quite a halvening, because halvenings don't work as well on proof of stake, but a depreciating amount of returns from actually running the nodes or the investment. The idea that, or the rewards.
With the idea that hopefully the price will appreciate and make it continue to be
it's more so that the fees will be able to pay for the actual cost of running nodes.
Okay.
That's kind of where it is, where it's like, as it's the incentives are to actually supplement the actual cost that the fees will come in and pay for.
Okay. And when are you guys shooting for mainnet launch?
When it's ready. Once again, it's about making sure that we do things according to regulation, making sure that everything is buttoned up, the right entities created, the right people are in place to issue these tokens. We want to make sure that we follow everything that we possibly can. And so much so that like most likely the current core team is going to be a consultant to the entire process to actually make sure it goes smoothly, and it will just be follow the appropriate regulation. It's really hard to talk about this obviously because of the making sure that you need to actually do the right things legally.
Yeah, absolutely. And
not making any false promises. One of the things that you'll never hear me say is, go join VOI because you'll make money or whatever. Like the large majority of the people that are with VOI are there because of the mission, because of the idea of that they believe actually in blockchain. You're one of them. Like I hear you talk all the time. I'm one of them as well. Like I got into blockchain originally because of the mission, not because I'm trying to get rich at all. Because if I was, I'm doing a horrible job at it.
Well, you have a big bag. You have a big bag of algo, don't you?
Yeah. Well, they just by purchasing over time. But like the things like I truly believe in the algorithm.
Is that it's up. You're probably feeling pretty good about your. Sorry, it's like 31 cents, Chris. It's pretty good.
Is it really? I haven't been paying attention.
Oh yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Talk
no price. Worries.
After you said you don't want to
talk. You talk about price so much. Yeah. No, I'm like the worst trader in the entire world. Like I don't take my financial advice at all because I'm horrible at it. But the idea is like it's all about the mission. It's all about actually making sure that blockchain is actually adopted. And like that's really what I've been devoting my life to. Because I believe it's needed. Like I don't like the huge companies and like so many like the rich people have so much money now, and like the middle class, there is no more middle class. Like that's a problem.
It is bad.
So
it's gotten only worse. It's only gotten worse since 2020. It's just like the middle class is completely disappearing. Yeah,
and that's what I care about right there. Is like I care about things to be more fair, and I see blockchain as a technology that if used right and people put their effort in, has a chance to actually make things better.
Right. Okay. Well, the Coop motto is it's for the gains and the things that you're going to get. So that's not the VOI motto, is what you're saying.
That's not my motto. I'll say that. Once again, I'm not VOI. Yeah, I'm just a dude with a I'm a dude with a jukebox and whatever. I'm just a guy.
You're a guy. You're just a regular guy.
Just a guy.
I'm gonna ask you another question that I think a lot of we have a good amount of people watching us right now. There is probably a significant amount of people that are in the Algorand ecosystem. Some of those people.
Hello, everybody.
What's that? Hello, everybody.
So hello, everybody.
Some of those people may be still unconvinced that VOI needs to exist. I'm sure you'd be surprised to find that. So my question for you, Chris, is to those people that are either on the fence or even hostile to the idea about VOI, why, other than what we just talked about, which was the most compelling initial thing for me, is that this idea of distribution, decentralized distribution from the beginning, not VC heavy, not raising a bunch of funds to make the core team, very happy and their bank accounts very happy. That doesn't seem to be the focus at all. So that is obviously valuable in itself. But outside of that, what's the value proposition for VOI? Why does VOI have to exist? Why can't what you guys are doing just happen on Algorand and we all just kind of reunite and maybe you can push back on the idea that this is only going to split already a smaller community?
Well, number one, we're already we started taking a lot of Algorand, or not taking, a lot of Algorand people came over to the VOI community early, but we're already gathering many other chains. I think VOI was never meant to be a subset of Algorand, and it doesn't even make sense. No reason to actually do that if that's ever the actual thing. But the truth is so all of you people that are on the fence or that you are fully against it, VOI's probably not for you. If those things, if a blockchain that is actually owned by the people putting value in, if a blockchain that's truly decentralized isn't really vibe for you, that's why the future is multi-chain. Like, Algorand, like I fully support Algorand. I do everything. I work with John Woods. I work with many people at Algorand Foundation. I fully expect them to do amazing in the future. And I think that us working together will make us both do well. If there's nobody twisting your arm, if you don't want to be part of the VOI community, it's not for you. Like it's so like the idea is like one of the things that's really important about VOI is that it is a very mission driven, value driven community. Number one, the mission is to actually build a blockchain that is owned by the people putting value in. If that doesn't vibe with you, not for you. The values of it, number one, goodwill. Goodwill means that you should believe that the other person that you're talking to has positive intent. If that's not a value to vibe with, it's probably not for you. If integrity, if you like to pair with extra goodwill, if somebody in the community is giving you goodwill, you better damn well have integrity. You better actually have positive intent. And that's the second value. If integrity is not an important thing for you, it's not probably for you. The next thing is collaboration. We believe in open source collaborative work, people helping people. The opportunity for blockchain is way greater than it is today. So there's no reason to worry about competition with who's here today, because if the opportunity is as great as what we believe it is, there's plenty to go around. Even if you are doing the same thing, help each other. We'll go further together. And then the final thing is intentionality. Don't do things just for shits and giggles. Do things because it'll move the needle. We're such a small industry still. We need to focus on things that will actually make a difference. And if those 4 values don't vibe with you, VOI's probably not for you, and that's okay. There are plenty of other options out there. Like we believe in goodwill to other chains. You're not going to see me talk bad about any other chains. Solana, Algorand, Bitcoin, Ethereum, any of those things, because we believe that there's optionality is important, and that at the end of the day, we're here because we want blockchain to be successful. We don't want VOI to be successful. We want blockchain to be successful because we believe that blockchain can truly change the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all of you people out there, you don't like me, you don't like what VOI's doing, that's okay. That's completely okay, and it's probably not for you.
Right. And I mean, everything you just said, obviously are good things. What I want to say first off to the crowd, especially the guys in the chat and gals in the chat, if you have questions, right now would be a great time to do it. We can ask the questions, and I won't have to scroll through the entire chat if you have been asking and we have been ignoring. So now is a great time to add your questions if you would like. And then I want to say, I had a conversation with Michael Cotton recently on the show.
Love Michael.
So BY
He's such a sweetheart.
Well, first of all, BY wants to know, did you answer the question? And so I guess the question, well, I'll ask it more specifically, because I did do like 3 questions in one. What is VOI going to, outside of the fair distribution and the ownership of the community, which I'm not saying is a small thing, but what is VOI going to do that Algorand can't do?
I don't even want to answer any other things, because that first thing is so big that that is everything. If you don't believe that those things are important, none of the other things actually matter. None of the other things about how we're focusing on user experience with the release of VOI ID, that doesn't matter. You won't care that we plan on being much more focused to our go-to-market, picking a single industry.
Okay, so this is actually okay. Then fine, you said it. So I want to bring my Michael Cotton thing back up, because that's what I was going to ask you. That from that conversation, Michael was pointing out a lot about what's the focus. He wants to know. It's like, if Algorand isn't focused on DeFi, fine. But what is the focus? Is it something we can rally behind? Is it like, because he's like, everybody seems to be sort of focusing right now. Near is basically abandoned DeFi as a thing, and look at how that token price is doing. But so there's a lot of people adjusting. So just so you can kind of dive into where you were going already, it seemed like, is that what do you see VOI as? Like you said, your go-to-market is more focused. So what is the idea right now behind VOI and where you guys are starting?
Sure. It's kind of nuanced. So bear with me here real quick. The reason why I'm actually focusing so much on that first part is because that is the go-to-market. First, you have to establish a strong foundation. You have to establish a strong foundation of what I call power users, the people, the oil for the machine, the people that play the game, that get their hands dirty, the people that believe in the actual that initial mission like I talked about, which, by the way, is a huge thing. And if you don't vibe with that, then they don't vibe with that. But when you establish this foundation, this is why we're focused on it.
I guess the hard part, and I'm going to just kind of, and I don't even necessarily have a point, so it's weird that I'm interrupting you, but I think the point is that I think most people, as a concept, who could possibly disagree? Who could possibly not vibe with the idea that that the community is going to own a higher percentage of this blockchain from the beginning? I just don't see how anybody would disagree with that approach. So then it makes me wonder, okay, so what is it that people are actually disagreeing with it? Are people thinking, well, you had gotten a lot of grants from Algorand over years. And so it's like, do they not believe you? I guess that's what it is that people just don't believe that is what you're doing. So, I mean, how, what are you going to do about that?
What can I do about that? Like, okay, gotcha. Got me. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. But do you agree with that? Like, because there's no way people disagree with the idea that the
this is why I stand on top of my soapbox and scream about it. It's like, it's like, why are you working so hard for that other chain when you don't actually own it? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, it could be one of those things where maybe I'm I have a blind spot. I just don't see it. And like, the truth is, like, when mainnet happens, when the correct entity launches mainnet, everything be much more clear and laid out, and there's no longer believing Chris anymore. I've never asked anybody for anything. I've not sold anything or anything of that sort. It's like, what if you don't believe me? Okay, you don't believe me. But like, when the time comes to actually, when this rolls out, there will be no trust me, bro, or anything of that sort. So,
right. So yeah, you're saying like this thing's going to roll out, and then you're going to become less consequential. You already, I mean, obviously you have a powerful voice, but you already can't make decisions alone.
It's like a sexy voice, I think.
Oh, it's beautiful. You've got it. You've got this wonderful mic. What happened? You seem like you're in a different room today. Are you in a different room than usual?
I am. I moved my desk to a different place. Okay. More secluded area.
Okay. So I want to get you back on topic. You were thank you, BY. I appreciate that. So my question for you, Chris, is to go back to what you were saying. What is the I think you were breaking down, like, what is the focus of VOI leading, as you launch?
Yeah, so the idea, focus is power users right away, because you can't really do BD. You can't go to market without that base functionality. So you make sure that you have the developers building, which we do. We have people building all of the major applications. Like, we have NFT marketplaces, launch pads. We have 2 AMMs coming. We have so many things, multiple wallets. So you're establishing that base developer one, but then you have to establish the people that make things move. So like the degens, if you will, my lovely degens out there, the people that's use these tools. And then you establish that foundation. Now you start looking at, how do you actually do the go to market with the mainstream? Because there's 2 completely different personas. There's the power user, which you have to establish first, and then you migrate to the mainstream user. Mm-hmm. The big problem with a lot of people do, and you said, Michael Cotton said people are figuring out, is that if you try to be the next internet for the mainstream user, you spread yourself too thin. Even if you raise those hundreds of millions of dollars, you can't hire enough people to do it right. So what you have to do is you have to pick a single industry. The industry I believe in that has a near term, could have a near term effect, is what I call membership infrastructure. This is membership management and loyalty points. This is a mainstream thing that's a multi-billion-dollar market. That's Web3. There are entities that have actually focused on it, but not at the actual base layer. And focusing on that as a full industry allows the builders, the actual developers that are building, to be able to kind of build off of each other and in that same industry. So imagine like you have multiple loyalty point systems. These loyalty point systems are now like tokens, if you will, and then they can be traded and used with DeFi and everything like that. So like it allows for an entire industry and multiple people to actually build on top of it to all work together and be synergistic. So I believe that the best industry to actually focus on in the near term for the mainstream, after we establish a strong power user market, is that industry.
That sounds good. I mean, that is something that I've been wondering why there isn't more of that already. It just seems like such I mean, it's a lot of these.
There's reasons.
What's that?
There's reasons. What it is that the big key thing here is that the mainstream user can't know they're using blockchain.
Yes.
And so this is where VOI ID comes in. It's a new wallet protocol that makes using blockchain pretty much invisible without losing the value of blockchain. So having the layer of VOI ID, people use applications, both web and mobile applications, like they normally do, but it actually interacts with the blockchain behind the scenes. But that's not enough. You have to have the power users that are getting their hands dirty, using the wallets and signing and everything of that sort to start moving things around to actually make them worth value. And on top of that, so you need the mainstream users can't know they're using blockchain. And number two, the actual stores need to actually have like next to zero friction and incentive to be able to try this new thing. And by having a blockchain that has an underlying nodes that have an underlying economy that make things work, there is extra incentive, or like the token has a value that the governance committee can decide how to incentivize people appropriately. So that there's multiple things that need to go in to really own this market. And that's why I think we're well positioned, or VOI will be well positioned to be able to attack that market when the time comes.
Yeah. And obviously, AVM is a great technology for this to actually run these types of things for people not to realize they're on blockchain because of how quickly it moves and how it's never been, in the instance of Algorand, it's never officially been down. So, Chris, well, first of all, thank you so much. I feel like you feel good. I feel good about how this went. I think that you did a great job.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Coop. I just enjoy talking to you. Anybody else listening, I would just do this, just you and me, anytime you want.
Yeah, I can hit you up. Well, first I want to give a shout out to Cody and BY for hooking up, in the chat with a little bit of USD. It's appreciated. Semino says, I have an old MacBook Air from 2017. Can it run a node?
Probably. The issue with that running actually nodes on laptops is laptops aren't designed to run 24 hours a day. So you can do it, and people do. Sure enough, people do. But it's obviously not as secure, and it doesn't run as well as actually a dedicated node system. But if you want to run a node in the cloud, which is really easy, you can do so for less than $20 a month, no problem. And then you don't have to worry about redundant power supplies and making sure your internet's up and running. And it's actually one line of code. So Henrik, who's on our team right now, built a thing called Voice Swarm. That is one of the easiest ways to keep a node running, and it automatically updates. It's an amazing system. So shout out to you, Henrik, if you're watching this. But you can run on your MacBook if you want. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to, you can.
And so what you're saying is like, yeah, sure, but maybe you should look into this running it in the cloud. That might be the better approach.
Somebody says Raspberry Pi. The latest Raspberry Pi is the Raspberry Pi 5. I believe I know of one user that is using it. It's chugging along. It's working.
It works. Okay, I have one of those.
I thought one of the latest ones.
I think, yeah. I mean, how latest is it? I think I have the 5.
Okay. Well, if you have a Raspberry 5, you probably can do it. Once again, not recommended.
Okay.
but
because
it's an open permissionless system, so people can run their toaster if they want to.
Yeah, it's just
we can't stop them.
But that's in the end not great for the network. A bunch of weak nodes.
But the network is designed in a way, especially with the new features coming out. If you are not performing appropriately, you'll be kicked out of running consensus. And if you're not producing blocks, you're not going to be rewarded for doing so.
Right. Adam says that he spent so much VIA on NFTs, he's definitely chosen poor. I think that's in reference to Cody earlier saying that VOI is for the poors, which is maybe you guys don't run with that logo or that motto. Man, I'm so tired. I'm saying logo instead of motto. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions? We got anything else here? What up, all? Nothing. It was good. Let's see. Cody, there are incentives. There are incentives. Yes. What about Raspberry? Okay, you said Gecko Fam's in the building. Let's get wild. Some of you may be wondering what a power user is. According to Always Sunny in Philadelphia, power users apply pressure from below, but also generate the power by doing most of the work. There you go. You earn testnet tokens that will be part of the game we are playing till mainnet. Points, like you guys said. Like is the focus. Points. Points have become so popular in Web3. Like everybody's just talking about points these days. You just want to airdrop.
Don't worry about it.
Don't even worry about it. Just get your points. It's all a game.
Get your points.
What? That's all it is. What else, Chris? Anything before we sign off?
What do you want to talk about? How you been?
I'm good. So, yeah. I'm okay. I'll be too honest. I'm gonna one more thing. So you have these NFT games happening right now, right?
Yeah.
That's something that so if people are out there, we've just talked about running a node. You can join the Discord.
Yeah.
And you can get all your questions. There's a bunch of people that are eager to help you in the Discord. If you're looking to run a node, or if you're looking to, get a Kibiscus wallet or an A wallet and start adding NFTs. I too have spent a significant amount of VIA on NFTs. How it's not an easy thing to get this points system right. I mean, I can't imagine the point system has got to be a difficult thing because you want to, if people are going to spend 1.5, million VIA on an NFT. Do they realize that might be what does that even mean? And
what's that mean? Yeah, no, I agree. I get it. This is why I tell people what you should be doing is just having fun and playing the game and then doing, buying NFTs and enjoying the community and just doing your best to change the world. That's what you should be doing. All
right.
But talk about the NFT games a little bit.
Okay, do it.
So I'm going to be honest with you, Coop.
Yep.
It was way more successful than I thought it was going to be, to a point now where the original plan of the games are kind of breaking down because what happened is that many of the projects that launched became in extremely high demand, and so everybody just blew up their what can I say? Family friendly way. Blew their stack on the NFTs real early and just pushed up the floor price. And it's okay, well, we assumed that the floor prices were going to remain low. So we had games where, number of trades and everything. And at the end of the day,
so expensive. Yeah. So they're not
trading. They're okay, well, I can't really, I think some of the Thirstover pointers are going for $1 million via, and nobody has $1 million via. Bogenmeister, who is actually in the crowd, has been getting very creative. He's one of the most sought after collections. But he's decided to actually reward people to play the game by future whitelists, which is actually really, really cool. But people are getting creative and right now we have a meeting set up tomorrow to kind of a round table to figure out do we change the KPIs? How do we incentivize? How do we keep these games fun? But damn it. It just ended up going way too well.
Yeah. By the way, I think I have the Dale Crispro 1. How much VIA will you give me that for that, Chris?
I actually have the number 1.
Oh, you do? What? Why does it say ranking 1? What does that mean?
Because Dale, those are all hand drawn, so there's no traits, so they're all ranked number 1.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I think you have me. You have the wild number one though, don't you? And I think those have traits.
I have the. Oh yeah, I have the MIA number one, right?
I don't know. This is what you told me.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe all of those are one too, Chris.
Maybe. But
So
wait, did it make you feel good? Did it make you feel good?
I looked at it and I wondered, does this mean anything? So what you're saying is you're not going to buy my Chris Pro from me. Fine, damn it.
Which one? Wait, which one is it?
He's a martial artist. It's a pretty, he's
That's a pretty good one.
It's a good one.
I own two Chris Pros. I have the original, the base model, and then I bought the drunk one, which I didn't want anybody else to have. So I was like, I'm just gonna take that one.
You're like, I spend way too much time like this. I need to own that. That's right. I'm not saying that you're a drunk. I kind of said that.
You 100% said that. You're lucky I have such good high self-esteem that I do not take offense.
Okay, good. Okay, so we had a couple of questions that I think we should. So we got, okay. So first, Philosophin says, if VIA is equal to VOI, why are VOI worth twice as much? It has something to do with the nodes, right?
Open market is why. They're 2 point something to 1 right now. And it believes because VOI can be used on node to earn more VOI, people just are bad at math. But so they're like, oh, this one can actually earn more by posting a node. So they, there's a different value, but it's an AMM. Like that could swap if for one day it goes the other way, but who knows?
Yeah. So basically what people are like, oh, this can be, this can help your node become more powerful. But then it's like, if you do math and you're trading at that huge of a discount,
right?
It probably, the math is probably not in your favor. So that should
do math. Everybody,
if we're talking about points, it is. But by the way, at the end of testnet, VIA and VOI are going to have the same exact point
value. That's right.
Everybody needs to know that. Okay, so we got BY has another question and wants to know, is Arrington something we can discuss? He is a credible guy in the space, says something good about VOI's pitch. So why don't you speak a little bit to Arrington, Kelly Callahan? I know you're longtime friends with Kelly.
Friends with Kelly.
Maybe your thoughts on Michael Arrington and why you think Arrington is supporting VOI.
Well, Arrington is a legitimate, like, blockchain crypto lover. He just listen to him talk. He's talked several times about the importance of decentralization, importance of properly distributed tokens and all of that stuff. He believes in the idea of a community ran blockchain. I think it's honestly it tugged at his heartstrings, if you will, like his true degen inside of him, and that's like same thing with Steve Coquinos as well. Like legitimate believer in crypto, and that's who vibes with us. There are people that actually, you know what, like I get it, Chris. There's a thing here that's blockchain. The initial Satoshi's vision is like not all VCs are bad. Like that's one of the things I keep telling people all the time. That's like a lot of the VCs that are, especially crypto VCs, truly do believe in the idea of crypto. Yeah. And not all of them do for 100%, but a lot of them do. They actually really believe in the value of it, and they want to be part of it. They want to be part of the community. They don't want to necessarily get rich on it. They want to help this mission happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to say, I know obviously there's been a bit of a dust up between Arrington and the foundation recently. And there's nothing that I could ask you about that, but that definitely there was something, but I have to say I was at Decipher in Dubai, and I think I've been to a couple of events where Michael Arrington was, but he's just like a very kind of no bullshit type of guy that calls it like he sees it. He's not up there pandering to anybody. It's the type of personality that I enjoy. I'll just say that feels familiar.
Yeah, I mean, same here. Like you and I both, like we've had conversations over drinks. Like we got real with things. Like it's like we don't like bullies. We don't like we don't like being told what to do. We say what our is on our mind. Damn the consequences.
I know that's something that I've I think my wife would like for me to correct.
Nah, it's more fun living this way.
I'm not going to change. What I mean, this is more
what does
fun.
she know? It's too late for change.
Thank you. I hope she's not watching. What do you know? But true, she'd be wrong. Okay. Okay, we got, but we recognize it in the game. So see both, 50,000 VIA bid here, Coop, for what? I don't know. Oh, for my MIA. No, no trades. Oh, I think all number one. Oh, shoot. All number one. Both my number ones are all number ones. That's okay. Hey, guess what, folks? It's but my MIA is very stripped down. He's very clean. You can have Chubb 1 currently listed. Got Chubb. There you go. Chubb number 1's out there. I highly doubt I'll ever sell any of my kits. 69 Coop for the Chris Pro. Okay, so now I've got an offer for 69 Coop. That is about $3. I don't know. Diamond Handy, my Dork and Wolf for life. Sold my MII Wild due to whitelist offer, but had to buy another. Too much FOMO. Sell it, Phil. But do. Let's see. We got anything? Major investor in Algorand and Ripple. We're talking about Arrington there. I want to hang with Coop. Well, come on, man. Let's hang. Let's do it. Next time, drink.
Remember hanging with Mr. Cooper?
I do. Mark Curry. He was a comic. He was a basketball coach. Right. Yeah. All right, Chris. Well, if there's nothing else, if you guys don't have any other questions.
I see. I'm not somebody to actually shy away from questions. If you feel like I didn't answer any questions or I missed things, BY specifically, I see your comment. Slide in my DMs. I'll be happy to answer you. Jump on a call, whatever you want. Yeah. I might not be able to answer everything just because of the rules. Yeah. But I'll be happy to answer as much as I can.
Cool. All right, everybody. Before we sign off, I just want to let everyone know immediately after this, join me on Twitter from the MESSINA site. I'll be hanging out with Kev, and we're going to talk about some of Algorand governance, all these votes, I think, just finalized, right? So we'll discuss what happened there. I actually don't really even know. So I'm sure Kevin will be.
Kevin's great.
Kevin's great. I like Kevin. He's been in this community for a long time. He's a friend of mine, and we're having fun together, trying to work together on some level. So you know what I mean. So he's a good guy to be here. All right, I got a DM waiting for Bogenmeister. Says he's got a DM waiting for you. So
I have like 10 DMs waiting for me.
Well, Chris, thank you so much. We can do this more often if you like. I had a great time talking to you.
You better do it before I blacklist you. Just so I was just saying.
You know what? You haven't blacklisted me yet, so I have high faith that because you could have. This is one of my favorite. I'll say this: the launch of the idea that the community is going to own it, but also the fact that last year I said some things on my show that a lot of people would have been like, "Fuck that guy." And you were just like, no, let me just answer the questions. Let me just give you my perspective. It's all good. You're allowed to question me. And then I'm in those council meetings. I haven't been for a while, but I have been the past couple of weeks. And you just being like, well, yeah. The relay nodes are pretty central. You call these things out as they are. And I think that's refreshing for me. And it's kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with Arrington. So, keep up the good work, Chris. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And thanks for tolerating me, man.
As always, I can't wait until I see you in person again.
Hell yeah. Well, let's make that happen.
Amazing.
All right, cool. I'll talk to you soon. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.